I mean, just think about it. Like a year and a half ago, when I was interviewed for a podcast or for like for anything, people would still look at me like I was weird. Like, what do you mean you don't work, you don't go to an office? And then later after that, they would be like, yeah, I guess it might work for you, because you have this company with this software, and you're so. It might work for you, but it will not work for me. Like in the like so they would. It was like a polite way of telling me, Michael, you're weird, so it works for you. We are not weird. We are normal, and for us, it would never work. Well, check it out now. Be strong.
So, hello, we have Michael Sliwinski. Have I said that right?
Yep.
Great. And he is a team productivity enthusiast. He's the founder of Nozbe and Nozbe Teams. These are apps that help people and teams get more done in a better way on any platform. Michael is passionate about working remotely and in a mobile way. And he's a husband and a father of 3 girls. I'm sure that's a lot to handle, as we heard today.
Yeah, exactly. Even the most productive people who have all the systems in place, everything in place, things fall through the cracks, and things happen. Family happens. Yeah, but eventually the idea is just to bounce back from these situations and just continue working. The good thing with having systems and having all that in place is to be able to bounce back pretty easily.
Right. Yeah, exactly. We're going to be posting this on our community page, which is for TimeNavi, we have a small community of people that are passionate about productivity. Would you just mind introducing what Nozbe is and so that they can get their head around it?
Of course. So Nozbe was back in the day when I was a freelancer, I needed a tool to get myself organized. I read the book by David Allen, Getting Things Done, and I loved it, but I didn't like the non-digital implementation of it. So I just took the 3 most important concepts on getting things done, the next actions, projects, and contexts, and just create the web app for myself. And actually, I built it over a weekend just for myself. And I was using it, just me, just for myself. And it took me like 2 years to realize that, actually, I like it. I like the implementation of it. I could just make it a little bit better and just maybe share, not be egoistic about this and share it with the world. So I did in 2007, and everything else is the history. Like turns out there are more Michaels in the world, so more people who think like me, right? And they loved it, and from then on, we are 14 years running with Nozbe. 1 year ago, we launched Nozbe Teams, which is like getting things done, but for teams. So because we realized that people are too egoistic about their to-do lists, they just want to keep them to themselves. And we thought, let's make an app that defaults to sharing to-do lists, defaults to just sharing and just getting stuff together. So that's it. Like we're in this, for the long run, like we have 700,000 users. And it's just, it's, I love it. It's my passion to help other, and it's also great responsibility because like people use our software to get their stuff done. So, hopefully I can say we are empowering people to, to do their stuff.
Totally. It sounds like it's something that came just from you, like your own passions. And so like, but there must have been like things that led up to that, right? Like what were the things that like failed along the way for like you to have the success? Because that's like everyone's story, right?
Of course. I failed my way forward, man. I just basically, so what happened to me is that, I've always dreamt of having an online business, and I didn't want to work for anyone. So these are the things. And I didn't want to go to an office. I think I have this thing with offices. I just like to have a home office, but not to go to an office to do the work. In the book I'm writing about this, I shared this quote from Anonymous. I don't know who said that. Work is not a place to go. It's a thing that you do, right? So, because of that, when I finished college, I wanted to just have a laptop, be connected to the internet and just do stuff. Because already when I was in college, I could write my thesis and coordinate it with my 2 professors who are from different countries, through the internet. So I was like, I didn't need to, be there physically in these universities at the same time to coordinate. We could do it through internet. And so why not work through the internet? So I did that. I finished college. I studied business, but I was programming at nights. So so what happened was I tried to build a startup, and I failed 4 times.
Four times.
Yes,
Wow.
4 times. Yeah. So it's like fourth time is the charm, I think. In my case, I just, I built, but mainly because I was trying to kind of replicate what people are doing in the USA. So I was trying to oh, this thing is interesting. I'm going to do this and just a little bit differently. And then, I failed. And then I tried this different thing. And I was like, yeah, but this one is hot. I'm just going to do something else. But I think the success of Nozbe came because I was passionate about the solution, about the problem of getting organized. I'm by default a very disorganized person. So if I have a system, it just helps me cope. It helps me get through the day, because whenever I fail, like today, showing up late for this interview, I can just get back to my system and just get back on my feet. And I think that's why this project was successful, because it was just kind of my interpretation of getting things done. And whenever we had some problems along the way of doing Nozbe, I didn't want to give up, because I loved it, because I knew that it was useful. So I didn't do it for the money. I didn't do it for the fame. I did it just for myself, to help me get organized. And when I saw people loved it and people liked it and people were using it and people were paying for it, it was just the more motivation to, tackle all the problems and just go, and develop it.
That's so cool. That's so cool. Like, was there a light bulb moment where you're like, oh my goodness, this, like, the world needs to know? Or like a moment where you're like, oh.
It's like before launching it. I was entertaining the idea of launching it, like, let's say, half a year before I launched it, right? Okay, so it was mid 2006. I was and thinking of launching it, and I was going through the forums. I was active member of many GTD forums, GTD enthusiast forums. Mm-hmm. I saw that there was really a need for an app like mine. So that the people were actually testing some to-do apps and didn't like the implementation. I myself signed up for one of the to-do apps. I tried with Outlook, failed completely. Then I tried I think Backpack. And I liked it. It was back then it was an app from 37 Signals. So I tested it. I liked how it was done, but I didn't like what it was doing. Right. So I liked the kind of design, but I didn't like exactly the implementation. So that's why I realized, okay, I might be onto something, because I need something different. And then I remember when I announced it, and I was nobody. So when I announced it on one of the forums, I realized that people were just, like they were like, normally when you announce something, people think you're spamming or something, right? But it was in the forum where we kind of knew each other. And then when I said that I have this new app, that maybe you should check it out and let me know if you like it, people just did. And, and then, the blogs then were kind of, there was less social media, more blogs, and blogs were blogging about it, and it just went up. But it's hard to say it was a light bulb moment. It was more of a thing that I know it works for me. People seem to need something like this. Let's see.
Yeah, and it sounds like it just snowballed from there.
Yeah,
that's so cool. One of the interesting things that you mentioned just a moment ago was this, like, the no office kind of thing. And it's really funny that that's like, you've been doing that for like 13, 14 years, and it's become mainstream now because we've all had to have no office.
Exactly. I mean, just think about it. Like a year and a half ago, when I was interviewed for a podcast or for like for anything, people would still look at me like I was weird. Like, what do you mean you don't work, you don't go to an office? And then later after that, they would be like, yeah, I guess it might work for you, because you have this company with this software, and you're so, it might work for you, but it will not work for me. So they would. It was like a polite way of telling me, Michael, you're weird, so it works for you. We are not weird. We are normal, and for us, it would never work. Well, check it out now.
You're the trendsetter. You're the trendsetter. Before it was cool.
apparently. Yeah.
Maybe something that like, because you've been doing it for 14 years and we've all only been doing it for like a year and a half or so. What are some tips that you would give to people? I know you have your backpack that I've read a little bit about from your stories, but I don't really know much about it. But.
So so several tips, but the most important thing is that so I'm right now in the middle of writing a book about it. It's called No Office, nooffice.org, and it's for free. So it's not, it's I'm writing it in an open source way. So I'm writing it, publishing on GitHub, so you can read it. And because I decided to just put all these thoughts and these ideas that we have been working on like in one place. For me, several things. First of all, when you work remotely, so the backpack thing is that you could what you can do is you can be flexible also with your workspace. So I have a backpack that's packed all the time with my gadgets and my and I can just put the iPad there and just go and work somewhere else. And especially now that they're slowly opening like bars and cafeterias where, like, depending where you live, it's good to again change the setting, not to work always from home, which is for example for me really good for Friday. On Friday I'm doing my weekly review, so I review like everything I've done through the week. And it's actually, we're recording this on Thursday, so tomorrow is Friday, and tomorrow I have this plan that I'll just drive my kids to school, and then from there I'm going to go to a bar, to a terrace, and over there I'm going to just work, do my review. So this way it's just I'm changing the scenery, I'm doing something different, and I know it's my review time, so I have to just really be in this focus mode and all that stuff. So this would be great. This thing that you can switch offices as you as you work remotely. But the most important thing is, I think to really embrace the idea of working from home. And when you do that, just focus on really setting up yourself for success. That the place where you work should be to your liking. If you like a clean place, get a good desk, get a comfy chair, or try like me, get a desk that is, that you can regulate the height of the desk and you can just work standing, which I really recommend. But really figure out, where you're going to work. So where is the work mode when you work from home? Because it's when you work from home, the boundaries are blurred between work and home. So it would be good that, for example, when you sit by this desk, it means you're working. But if you sit on in the kitchen by the desk, it means you're hanging out with your kids or you're watching some Netflix. This is free time and this is work time. So I would say that this is the beginning, to get the boundaries right, because otherwise we can get really confused.
I like that. Especially, like, I know from my own desk, I like keep it completely clean and like empty, because I just need that. Somehow it gives my head a better space to work in. So definitely. I really do like that.
Also, when you have the whole thing for me, I think that the change for many people was that people switched to what we are doing now, so Zoom meetings, right? And when you do meetings, I think the key is to not overdo them, because the barrier of entry is very low. Like we just click on the link, we're there, and we can talk. But this way, we are creating too many meetings. So people are, they are anxious. They have family running around and all that stuff. So I would say, we have this rule in Nozbe that we have meetings should be regular, optional, and well prepared. So what it means is regular. It means that they happen, like the same type of meeting happens the same day, every week, at the same hour, in the same Zoom room. So for example, we have a design meeting every Tuesday at 2 p.m. So everybody, and there are 6 people who participate in this meeting. All the 6 people know who they are. The meeting is at the same place, the same time, the same Zoom room. So it's really easy, and it's 4 p.m. It's 2 p.m. So we have still time before meeting to get prepared and get everything organized in the morning. Have some time for deep work in the morning, and then go to the meeting at 2 p.m. Yeah. So that's really easy. But then the meeting is optional, because if it's not well prepared, so if we don't have an agenda and the agenda is not really documented, then meeting doesn't happen, because we have nothing to talk about. So we just cancel this meeting, and then if you didn't manage to prepare the agenda and prepare the stuff for the meeting, well, next week then.
I love it. That's so cool. Why the regularity is like a really interesting concept to me. I have we have a weekly planning meeting each week as part of our team. What's the major benefit of having it weekly or like regular for you? Like what's...
Yeah, I mean, several things. So first of all, especially when people are right now working remotely because they have to, and not just because they like it like I do, but just have to. It's the cool thing to just see each other every week. You are kind of forcing yourself to see each other. So it's it's good and it's good. And the beginning of the meeting, it's good actually to just chat for 10, 15 minutes. You have to control it, of course, but 10, 15 minutes, you just chat, just what's up, how are you, and then you go through the agenda, you do what you have to do, and you stop the meeting. So, but this regularity, and like for me, for example, I've never, maybe I'm weird, but I've never had this problem of feeling that I am alone in this small home office of mine because of the regular meeting with my team. So I'm really in touch with them. I really know what's going on in their lives. I really know, how they are. So it's like kind of trying to replicate this human contact, but without being just too annoying, like every day a meeting or something like that, or every 2 hours a meeting or whatever. Just one meeting with a certain group a week is just a good cadence, and it's also a good cadence also to prepare the agenda. So if it doesn't get prepared, as we said, you can just so this week not, but then for next week. So there is still time to just get things ready.
I like this, and maybe it also catches those like urgent meetings that you have, and like you can bunch them into those meetings, which is
exactly. I mean, many times during the week, for example, I have this urge to talk to somebody about something, to share. Like, for example, with my product manager, I have this idea for this cool Nozbe feature, and I want to share with him. But instead of, embracing this urge, what I do is I write it up, prepare for the agenda for Tuesday, because I know on Tuesday at 2 p.m. we will meet with him and with other people, and I'll be able to share it and we'll be able to discuss it. So it's like, and this way, I also buy myself time to really think about this idea more, not to share the first version of the idea, but to really, write it up, think about it, maybe go back to it tomorrow and just write it up again, or just add something, and then prepare something much better for a much better discussion on Tuesday.
I really like this. I really, really like this. This is like, I've had the regularity of meetings, but it's such a cool idea to group things that you would have as like urgent ideas into this kind of meeting setting. I love that.
Because the thing is, I think one of the keys to good meetings is the fact that you don't present stuff on the meetings. You write something up before, you let people know what you wrote up, and you give them time before the meeting to read it. So when they read it, what happens on the meeting is not just, I'm not telling you the idea. What we're doing is we're already discussing the nuances. You're asking me, okay, but Michael, why did you choose this? Or why do you think this is a good idea? And like, we can discuss the nuance and not just, make a formal presentation and then you will be caught off guard. You have to right now give me brilliant feedback because, you didn't have time to think about it. So for me, like this preparation of meetings is really important, because it's like a meeting happens before the meeting when people read my stuff, or, or I read somebody else's stuff, because I'm just kind of thinking about it. And then on the meeting, I can give them better questions.
That's such a cool idea. And I suppose like even writing it down makes you make more concise and clear the thoughts that you have about that particular thing. So you're not just splurging ideas as well. Another topic that I'd love to hear from you about is, obviously you're a CEO of a company. You are your wife is a lawyer. Is that right?
Yes.
You have 3 kids, and I'm sure you also have lots of other commitments. Like, how do you juggle all of that? Like, how do you have a healthy productivity and a work-life balance? Like, how do you manage?
So, without sounding too obvious, I use Nozbe, of course. But this is like more than that. It means I write stuff down in my system. So my system is Nozbe, but you choose your system that works for you. So I use Nozbe Personal for my personal stuff. I use Nozbe Teams for our team productivity, for our shared list, and we use digital calendar. So whenever there are things to be done, I write them down. and I put them in the calendar. That's why I was so annoyed that reminder of this meeting today with you failed, and I went late. But anyway, usually everything is there, so I don't have to think about these things too much, because I have this also habit that every day at the end of the day I check what's going to happen tomorrow, so I can sleep on it and just be ready for tomorrow's day. So yesterday when I was in the evening, I was reviewing stuff. I knew that I was going to talk to you today, and I was getting prepared for it, right? So that's what I do. And with that, because with so many commitments, with so many issues, with being a CEO of a 20-something company and being the father of 3, things fall through the cracks all the time. But if you have them written down in a system that you can trust, that you can pull out and check, for example, today we have a pediatrician appointment with 2 of the kids, right? It's in the calendar. I checked it and I know it's there. So it's like writing stuff down is just key. And in a system that works on all of your devices, if you're a digital person like myself, because then all the calendars, appointments, they all sync. So I see them on my iPad, I see them on my Mac, I see them on my iPhone, and the same goes with tasks from Nozbe Personal or Nozbe Teams. It all syncs together, so I can access this information from anywhere. And I think for me this is the key, to know where the information is, to know where the information is stored, and this way I don't have so many things on my mind, really. So when we're talking right now, I'm not thinking about anything else. I don't have to think what I have to do next or whatever, because it's there, it's written down. The moment we finish the conversation, I'll just get back to it, pull it up. Okay, next thing is this, and let's go. That's
really cool. I really like that. You're making me a believer, just so you know, as we're talking.
because people think that having a task list and project list for your private stuff is an overkill. But man, private stuff, there's so many things. I mentioned pediatricians. We are right now in our house. We had a leak, so we have people coming in and fixing the house. All these things for me are projects, and there are tasks related to it. And it's this way, when people I know what's going on, and I know, and because next to each task there are comments, so I can just comment on what's the status of it, how it's going, and all that stuff. It's just I like to have both my private life and business life organized.
That's so cool. What's something? I mean, I love hearing about the success stories, but also I want to know you're still human.
Of course.
when has it all gone wrong? What's the time where you're just being like, oh, it's nuclear option has happened? I don't know.
Yeah. So the good thing is so I have this feature. That whenever something goes wrong, I immediately blame myself. I just say, okay, it was my fault. Even if it really wasn't, somebody else did something, I still believed it was my fault, because maybe I should have checked on them before. I should have checked something before. I should have prepared for something. Even when I had the last time, for example, I had a webinar. I was doing a webinar. Everything was going great, and then I was offline for 10 minutes. Okay, my internet, which is a gigabit internet, which is just awesome, just stopped working. It has never happened to me before, and even then, after the whole thing happened, I came back online. We finished off the webinar. It was okay. It wasn't people didn't go away, so it was good. But then after that, I thought, okay, it's my fault. I haven't prepared for this. Why? And then we just decided to just to see what's going on, what we could have done. And there are things that we could have done differently. I could have had my iPad connected to 4G network and to LTE network, and be also in the webinar, so I could switch to my iPad immediately and continue. There are things that you can always fix, right? So that's why many issues that I have with running the company, many decisions I do as the boss or as a product guy, I know that each of them is reversible. Even if I do something really wrong, I can just learn from it. And that's why, for me, I admit mistake quickly, because then when I admit mistake, I go into this, fixing mode. I blew it up. I completely blew it. So let's just see what I could have done differently not to blow it next time, right?
Mhm.
And then how to fix it, and so I think this kind of approach, on one hand, it's frustrating, but on the other hand, I think it's liberating, because it's just puts me quickly into, instead of just suffering and crying and and stuff, but puts me in a fixing mode.
Mm.
But of course, as you run a company, I mean, we have 20 something people, they all work remotely, the people are a problem. Like, people have their issues, people have their, agendas. And very often my main problems were just related to people, that I hired the wrong person, or I didn't lead the person correctly, or the right person left, and then, it's always, I think these are the main struggles for me. Um, uh, but also, like right now, like in this world right now, with social media and FOMO and all that stuff, also, for example, the message of Nozbe, like, it's different, and also it's to get through, it's kind of easier because there's so many more people connected to the internet, but it's harder because there's so many competitors and so many other ideas. So it's I think it's constant struggle, but the good thing is just to trust in yourself and trust that you will solve the problems, and think about decisions as temporary. Like, the decision can be always, there comes the next one, after. I
There is
think.
redemption. There is
Yeah, there's
redemption.
redemption. Yeah. And in the end of the world, and in the end of the day, usually if you fail at something, it's not the end of the world. Usually it's fixable. Like, it's really hard to screw up so bad that, just like, it's the end of the world. I believe in that. I firmly believe in that. So that's why it's, it keeps me going, and it keeps me motivated, and, just,
I love that. I love that. Maybe just the last couple of questions. I've got one on social media,
Okay.
and one on just like a little bit of advice to startups. So the first one, social media. I like listened to part of your talk, one of your podcasts. I'll put it in the description of this
Perfect.
video on social media rehab, like where you kind of like went cold turkey on it. Like, are you still cold turkey, and do you advise it for everyone else? That's my question.
So, the experiment was really good, because I remember when I got back on Facebook after a month of not being on Facebook, I started scrolling my timeline. I felt like the anxiety growing in me, like the feeling of FOMO, the feeling of that people have a better life than me, like all that stuff, it's and I was surprised that it would just creep in on me like this. So I would say, everybody has to figure out their own way to do it. But I recommend the book Digital Minimalism by Cal Newport. And this book prompted me to just go cold turkey on Instagram, on Facebook. On Facebook, I'm not posting anything for a year now. But on Instagram, I am posting sometimes. But whenever I post, I make sure that this is something I share. And then I make sure that I don't really scroll much. I just post, I scroll just the 2 or 3 important, interesting things, and then I have time limit for 15 minutes. So after 15 minutes, it goes just out.
Oh, that's cool.
I cannot use Instagram anymore. And for Twitter, same thing, 15 minutes a day max. And on Twitter, I am more active, but I just removed lots of people I was following. But so I just trimmed my timeline, so it's shorter, so that I don't go through too many things. So you have to find your own balance. But I would encourage to just go cold turkey for a month and endure it, and then come back and then see if you really like which parts you missed. Because for you, it might be something else. Maybe you like, I don't know, maybe you like, the LinkedIn more, because you were posting, find things there, and your network was really, really smart, so you would just miss it. Maybe you missed Facebook because of, some social groups. Maybe you missed Instagram because you liked photos of some people, maybe you're like a dog lover and you like the photos of dogs. All right. But I think it's healthy to do a cold turkey thing, like just go for 30 days without social media. Just remove social media from your iPhone, from your tablet, from anywhere, and not log out from social media, and then come back, and then really see what you missed and see what you can do going forward. Because the problem with social media is that the fact that it's created to generate engagement, so it is created to make you stay more. And I would still advise you to to put time limit. Just put really time limit that, after 15 minutes, you have to make a decision. I mean, do I cheat myself or do I just, stop doing it right now? Because 15 minutes are gone like this. This is so fast. So you will never even notice.
Yeah. Do you have like an app that you use for the 15 minutes, or do you
No, it's just
set a timer?
in iOS there is a screen time feature, which normally is tailored to control the kids, but I control myself like this.
Nice. Your inner child. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. It's so funny, like, because I use it also with my kids with screen time, because they all have iPads. And my friend told me, but I trust my kids. I'm like, man, you trust your kids? I don't trust myself. So, and the other day, my daughter saw that, I had screen time suddenly pop up, and she was like, Dad, you also have screen time?
I love that. Thank you. The last question I have was about entrepreneurship. We talked about like failing and like failing forwards or falling upwards almost.
Yeah.
What would be your piece of advice to us us entrepreneurs who are new to the game and are trying?
Yeah. So it's being an entrepreneur, it's always hard because you're trying to bring something new to the world, and it depends on the timing. It depends on luck. I'm sure that I was really lucky. I had good timing, like the moment that there were not many apps. Like there are just so many factors. But I think some of the things that don't change, like the fact that what you're doing should be your own version of this. So and you should learn how to explain to people what's different about you, right? Like what really stands out. I really like these guys, Basecamp. They have this app called Hey for email, and it's a kind of a completely different email client than Gmail. And on their website they really show how it's done. And for example, when we launched Nozbe Teams, which is a to-do app for Teams, we thought it was obvious what it is, and it will just sell itself, right? It will be just a success, instant success, because it comes from us. We already had success with Nozbe, so Nozbe Teams will be success automatically, because us, right? Not so fast. So the thing is that we are also learning how to promote team collaboration. We realized that people, for example, don't want to, let's say, are pretty anxious about, are self-conscious about sharing to-do lists with other people. So we have to encourage them. We have to show them how it's done. We have to show them what kind of systems we have in Nozbe Teams, so that they don't get notified too much, and why our system is different than other systems like Asana, like Rike, like other systems, right? Like Basecamp. So because it is different. But I think the key is to learn how to sell the difference, how to show that Nozbe Teams is different than all these other apps, and it's not just about being cheaper or whatever. So fighting with the price, because this is never a good way to win. But and also looking at the whole entrepreneurial game, that it's actually not a game. There are just so many customers out there that you don't have to kill somebody to win. Like for Nozbe Teams to be successful, Asana doesn't have to lose. No, like they have their place, and they might be a big player, but we also might be a player, or even a big player, when we try hard and we learn how to sell this concept, how to teach people to share to-do lists and just work together as a team. So it's like I think, for everyone, it's really find this inner voice, like find these other Michaels, like find these other people that would love what you did. I like how Seth Godin says that he's like, hope that people will miss you when you are gone. Like people would so people will be missing your solution when it's gone, right? For me, the best part of me being an entrepreneur is I schedule weekly customer calls. So my customer team chooses customers that are interesting and schedules a chat with me. So this way, I have on Mondays and on Tuesdays and on Thursdays, I have in my Calendly, I have just slots for talking to customers just for this purpose, and I talk to them. And when I listen to them, and when they tell me how they use Nozbe, how they would miss Nozbe if it was gone, like how their business depends on using Nozbe, this keeps me going, because then I know, and also this teaches me, okay, I have to figure out how to transmit this enthusiasm of this customer to other customers, so that other customers also subscribe and pay and whatever. but that's the thing. You should, believe in what you're doing, have this, be unique and learn how to sell your uniqueness. And I think with that, it's more likely that you will succeed. But you never know.
Thank you so much, Michael, CEO of Nozbe, and we'll see you again next time.